Hello and welcome to Rob from the Internet Talks About Beer, a show where we discuss different styles of beer, beer history, beer flavor profiles. We give shout outs to breweries we think make exceptional beer, and we talk about whatever else happens to come to mind during the course of the conversation. I'm Rob from the Internet. Let's talk about beer. Or more specifically today, let's talk about Braggots. All right, joining me today is Chris Carlo. Those of you who might actually follow my show would know that Chris has already been on my show earlier in season 1, and he decided to come back for season 2 because he's a glutton for punishment. How you doing, Chris? If you would, tell me a little bit about yourself, how you got into craft beer, and what you do when you're not talking about craft beer for people who might not know who you are.
Yeah, hey Rob, I'm happy to be here again. I always like to talk about beer with friends from the internet and friends in real life. And yeah, so I currently I'm one of the Ottawa sales representatives or territory managers for Broadhead Brewing here in Ottawa. And I got into craft beer back in 2015, doing different stuff, helping with production at a brewery, and then made my way more to the events and sales side of things because I'm very good at talking, but science is difficult. So that's where my skills kind of found themselves. And yeah, I've been in the industry doing different stuff since, for about 6 years now. And yeah, just kept, enjoying sales, and especially now things are getting a little bit more back to normal. So bars are buying beer from us again, which is a positive thing.
That is a positive thing. Yeah. So when we talked last time, you had, I think you had just accepted the job at Broadhead.
Yes.
You hadn't even started yet. So how is that going
No.
for you?
It's going really well. Like when we're talking right now, this is my actual 3-month anniversary.
Nice.
So to the day basically. And it hasn't felt like 3 months. It's felt like so much longer. It's felt like so much less. Like I've been busy and it's been crazy, but it's been good. I'm very happy being, working there and doing sales again because it's what I like to do.
Awesome. All right. As I said earlier, today we're going to be talking about Braggots and not Braggards, but Braggots, which is a style of alcohol. For those of you who don't know, and you're going, what the hell is a braggot? Well, a braggot is what happens when a mead and a beer meet each other and fall in love, and they get together in the bedroom. Oh wait, no, that's that's something completely different. A braggot is what happens when mead and beer are made together and blended. So there's mixed history on this. Some people say that braggot is a beer mixed with mead. Some people say it's mead that has beer mixed into it. Some people say that it's a mead that's brewed with malted barley and uses hops. And some people say that it's a beer that's brewed with an excess amount of honey. So there's a little bit of controversy on what the actual history is, but we do know that it's been around since the 12th century. And for all intents and purposes, it is a Celtic drink in its history. It was very popular through post-Renaissance Europe, and as of today, it still remains a traditional drink of Wales. A lot of people say that the mix should be 50-50. There's no hard and fast rule. Some places make braggots that are 70-30. Some are 60-40. It all depends on the brewery. There are even some tales of braggots being made at bars by bartenders, just taking mead and beer and kind of mixing them together. And I suppose that could very well be a thing. For those who don't know what to expect, you can kind of compare a braggot to like a dessert wine or a dessert beer. So it's going to be more on the sweet side. Might have a slight off dry palate to it, but you never know because everyone can be different. Today we are both going to be drinking the same mead. Let's see here, Mind Over Matter, by All or Nothing Brewing in Oshawa, Ontario. So
in the schwa,
as my wife would say, in the dirty schwa.
The dirty schwa.
I have had this before. I bought a couple of these when I bought this because I like braggots. I've had several in my lifetime, and this one is pretty good. So let's just get right into it.
All right.
So on their can, go ahead.
I was going to say, I've never had one before, and up until that little bit of information drop, I didn't even know what one was.
Yeah.
So this is exciting.
Right on their can, it's pretty nice. They tell you the way to get the perfect pour with a braggot. So it's turn it upside down, give it a gentle swirl, and then pour it into your glass. Proper glassware is a tulip. Proper temperature should be between 10 and 12 degrees Celsius. That's 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit for those of you who use freedom units. I had actually sent Chris a message earlier today telling him that he should take this out of the fridge about an hour before the show so that it had time to warm up to the proper temperature. Because much like an Imperial Stout, these things get better as they warm up. So yeah, you can see it's got a nice golden hue to it. Medium carbonation visually. You can see lots of little bubbles going up there, which is good. It's got a nice white billowy head. So you should get aromas that are like citrus and honey, maybe biscuit or cereal, possibly floral notes. And it might, this one in particular, you might pick up that it kind of smells like champagne. So you kind of get that same kind of effervescent aroma that's, light and spritzy. And yeah, so, cheers.
Okay.
So what do you
That's
think?
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's
pretty good.
So it should be light. Even though this is even though this one comes in at 7%, it should be fairly light in the mouthfeel, and it should be fairly light overall. The flavor should be slightly honey, slightly bready, possibly a bit floral. Like I said, it all depends. This one, All or Nothing says that they use one hop, one malt, and one type of honey, and they say it's 100% Ontario honey, so that's kind of cool.
So it's a smash mead braggot.
It is. It is. Yeah, it's one malt, one hop, one honey.
One B.
One B. That's right. Yeah. So, the flavor, the flavor should be well balanced. You shouldn't get too much honey. You shouldn't get too much beer flavor. It should be a good mixing of the two. And like I said, it should be nice and light.
Yeah. No, it's nice. I wasn't sure how sweet it was going to be, how much honey flavor was going to be in there, but it's a little bit sweet, but it's very much like, if you just told me this was a beer, I'd be like, yeah, it's just a beer. It's like some sort of blonde golden ale or something like that.
Right. Well, and so the flavor profile and the sweetness all depends on the brewery, because they all kind of vary.
Yeah.
For people that are interested, typical ABV for a braggot ranges anywhere from 6 to 14%, though I personally have had some that have gone up as high as 18%.
Jeez.
Yeah. IBUs can be anywhere from 10 to 40, but they will always be low because the hops are there just to kind of balance out the sweetness from the malt and the honey. Color range should be somewhere between 3 and 16 SRM, and I think this falls well within that range. This looks like it's somewhere in like the 4 to 5 range. Should be medium carbonation to average carbonation. So you're looking 1.8 to 2.8 volumes for those beer nerds out there who know what that is. And some good examples of this, ones that I've had. Sam Adams actually makes a great one called Honey Queen. Comes in at 7.5%, I think. And then Rogue Ales makes one. It's a Marionberry Braggot, and that's like 11.5%. The one that I had that was 18% was from J. Wakefield Brewing out of Florida. They have one that I think it's pronounced Mod House. It's MJOD. It was a strawberry braggot that came in at 18%, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Was it super boozy?
Yeah.
Like, could you really taste? Oh
yeah. At 18%, it's. I mean, it's at that point you're hitting the same level that you get from standard meads. So it's very, very little bit of the beer profile, more of that mead kind of profile. Another one, Hourglass Brewing, also in Florida, has one that they made. I don't know that they make it anymore. It was a maple braggot, which was pretty good. Oh. Had a very interesting flavor profile to it. It's great. It's a great light flavor. This would be great with like chicken or seafood. Mm-hmm. Something like that. You wouldn't want this with something like big and robust, because this is a nice light flavor. This one in particular, it's I don't know. It's one of those styles that not a lot of people know about, and there's actually, if you try and look it up, like there is a beer judge style for it. I think it's like 26B or something like that. But beyond that, you're B for Braggot or B for honey. I don't know, whatever.
B.
Yeah.
Buzz.
But there's not a lot of information out there really on Braggots, because it's not that big of a style. I was actually surprised when I found one. I found this at the LCBO. It was right about the last time we talked, about 3 or 4 months ago. Okay. I had found it, and I was shocked that I had actually found one. It's kind of expensive because meads are kind of expensive to make because honey isn't cheap.
Yeah.
So it does come in a small can. This comes in a 296 milliliter can. So it's it's just a stubby little guy. It's but I mean, then again, you get what you pay for. It's really nice.
Yeah, I remember when we were talking about getting set up for this episode, maybe a little peek behind the curtain for some people. I'm like, hey, what are we doing this? It's like, oh, let's get the date. And then you sent me a photo. And you're like, can you find one of these? And I'm like, sure. And there was one store in Ottawa, one LCBO in Ottawa that sold it, which happened to be down the road from my brewery. So it was easy for me to go over there and get it.
Nice.
But I was like, oh, yeah, I was able to find it fairly easily. But I was excited because I before now I'd never tried. I've tried mead before.
Yeah.
A couple of times. Like, it's not my typical drink, but no, I like this a lot. It's very smooth.
It is. It's nice. It's nice for a change of pace from your standard beers and things like that. And like I said, drinking this, you would never guess that it's a 7%er. The way it drinks this drinks very much like a blonde ale, something that would come in at 4.5 to 5%. So this is another one of those what we call a stand-up beer. You don't know how much you've had until you try to stand up.
Oh yeah.
I feel suddenly like I should sit back down. Yeah. So before we got started, I was actually reading an article. The headline of the article is, "We asked 10 brewers what's the most overrated beer style for 2021," and you'll never guess what the most overrated beer style. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 10. Four of the 10. So 40% of them are of the same style. Can you hazard a guess to what that style is?
Oh, New England IPA.
They're all IPA styles. Yeah. So, in order from the most overrated to the least overrated, I think they have it as the Hazy Milkshake IPA, the Triple IPA, the Double IPA, and then just your standard West Coast IPA. They think they're overrated. And then of course you've got between a couple of them you've got Pumpkin Ale, which I 100% agree with. I can't stand Pumpkin Ale.
Love pumpkin beers. Gimme.
Yeah, you're one of those guys. I should send you. I've got from Boxing Rock out in Nova Scotia. I've still got one can left of Fuego, which is their pumpkin habanero ale. And
no, pepper doesn't belong in beers. No peppers in beers.
It is. It's funny because it tastes like pumpkin, and then you get hit with that spice, and it's like, It is.
that.
It's pumpkin spice going a whole different direction.
Yeah. No, thank you.
The other styles that they have listed are fruited sour slushy beers.
Good, but definitely overrated, and frankly, just dangerous to have around the house.
And then they've got brute beers. So yeah, I agree with the brute beers because, you know, if I'm going for something that's going to be dry like that, I'm going to drink wine or something if I want that dryness.
Actual champagne.
Yeah, or actual champagne, right? I had a brute IPA once, and it was probably one of the worst things I'd ever put in my mouth because one, it was like it was like that New England kind of super fruity flavor, and then it's like super dry in the end, and I'm like, oh, what the hell did I just drink?
What a bad combo. Like if you're drinking a hazy IPA, it's juicy, you want it to be smooth and just like creamy. You don't want to be hit with like dryness,
right?
Like ugh.
Yeah, and then
it's even if it tastes good, it's like unwelcome,
right?
You're like, that's not what I wanted when I cracked a hazy IPA.
Yeah, if I want something dry, I'm gonna drink a wine or champagne or something that you know is supposed to be that way. The last one that they have, the most overrated beer style, is whatever the local unattainable hype beer is. Which cracked me up. I'm like, yeah, because there's lots of those hype beers out there, so you get
yeah,
you know,
you love to hate them. You love because you don't get any, so you're jealous. Like, well, I don't even want it because it's just a hype beer. I don't want to wait 2 hours in the line in a cold for some silly double IPA. Whatever.
Yeah.
But if I had a can, I'd be like, hell yeah, I got my can, guys.
Right. Exactly.
It's just jealousy.
So
I'm pretty.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Like speaking of hype beers, like and it's no shade on them at all. So Wood Brothers Brewing out in like Alexandria, out near like way past Ottawa. I'm in Alexandria for work at least once a month, couple times a month. And every time I go down there, I try to make it a Friday so I can just like, oh, I'll just swing by the brewery and say hi and pick up some cans to go. But it's never worked out that way yet.
Yeah, that's the joy of being a rep for a beer company. Things.
Yeah.
No, I remember what I was going to say now. So,
I'm so sorry.
No. That's what happens when you hit a certain age. The train goes down a track and then all of a sudden it falls off and you're like, what was I talking about? Speaking of a look behind the curtains, is there any inside scoop of new stuff coming out from Broadhead that you can talk about?
Yeah, I mean, we got some new. I'm not sure when this will come out. By the time this comes out, we probably will have released our Schwartz beer and I think a coffee porter, which I'm pretty excited about. In the new year, we're going to have some new stuff for the LCBO and just like general consumption across the province, which I'm very, very excited about. I don't think I'm supposed to say what that is yet.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Yeah.
It's supposed to be on the DL.
Yeah, don't get yourself in trouble, but there is new stuff coming.
No, it's okay. Lots of new stuff coming. Oh yeah, I mean, we like our Tap Room 174, like our small batch series of stuff. Our brewer Mark, we're putting out new beers at least every month, if not every few weeks. Like we did a lot for our 10th anniversary that happened in October. We released 3 beers for that, but now he's back on the schedule of new releases very frequently. And I'm very excited for the Schwartz beer because I love a black lager, and you don't find those too often, and by and large they're all very good. I mean, everyone I've had has been usually pretty good. It's hard to disappoint if you do a good job with that. So I'm pretty excited for that. I'm excited for the coffee pour because I love coffee beers. Yeah, that's it right now, and then they'll let us know when there's more stuff coming down the pipes.
Now do you guys do any barrel aged beers at all?
That's in the future. We are looking at getting, and I don't know if this, and maybe this is a breaking news exclusive. It's not that big of a news blast. I know we're looking at getting some barrels. I think Mark and one of the owners have been working on sourcing those. I think we're pretty close to getting some barrels. So I think it just like other stuff took precedence over because of the pandemic, but I know we are working on that. So I think in the near future, we'll have those going and get some cool stuff. I'm not sure what's going to be in the barrels, but I imagine it'll be just awesome because Mark is very good at what he does.
I'm going to imagine, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's probably going to be beer.
Yeah, yeah. So barrel aged beers, I think for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. It's always fun to talk to people that actually work in the industry, because you can try and get a little bit of information out of them, and
Yeah,
get a little insight as to what the upcoming trends are going to be, and things like that.
absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I've just been I've just been drinking a lot of beer. I haven't been brewing anything lately. My brewing equipment took a crap on me this summer, and then adult responsibilities kicked in, and I've had to have all sorts of other stuff fixed around the house. Had to have some electrical work done and some water remediation done and things like that, which all ate into this money I had set aside for my new brewing system. So that's my life. It's sad.
It's not fair. Not quite fair.
It is what it is. I mean, it's given me an opportunity to drink a lot more other people's beer, because I tend to brew a lot of beer and then I just drink my own stuff.
Yeah, save the money.
Well, it doesn't really save any money. I mean, with the amount I brew and drink.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, I mean, I've had some really good stuff recently. Just going through, obviously lots of Broadhead stuff because I got it from work. But I always like to buy some of those, like the winter packs from the LCB, only the 4-packs. So I got one from Second Wedge recently and had some of those. I got the Whitewater one because I really enjoy their Jack Rabbit Espresso IPA. I'm looking forward to trying the other 3 as well.
Nice.
So keeping it all over the place, really. I'm looking behind. I have a bunch of beer on the floor behind me. That hasn't gone in my fridge yet. I'm looking like, oh, what's down on the floor?
Anything good?
Actually, yeah. So today on the way back from the brewery back into town, I stopped at Shiloh Brewing Co., which is just the newer one, sort of in the eastern part of Ottawa. And because I used to work for Ben when I worked for his sales agency, BW Beverage Services. So I stopped by to say hi, and we traded some beer samples. So I got a 6-pack from him that I'm very excited to try, because I tried their Vienna Lager and their Ragan beer, and they're both really, really nice. And they've always made some excellent beer. So I'm really looking forward to getting into this 6-pack of new stuff here.
So for people who don't know, what's a Ragan beer?
Now, that is a really excellent question. And I found out today, it's sort of like, it's a German style beer, and it's made with rye, and they're sort of similar to like Hefeweizen. Like they have the Hefeweizen yeast. So there's a bit of that like kind of light banana flavor, but then you're getting a lot more of the rye. So it's like a cloudy, like Vienna lager with a bit more like banana flavor. Maybe is the best way to like say it. I don't know. Like I saw it for the first time today.
Yeah, where was I? I can't remember. I was at some brewery, and they had what they called a rye PA. So it was an IPA made with rye.
Yeah, I love like any rye. I love rye in beer because it just is this nice kind of like pumpernickel pretzel-y flavor that I really enjoy. Like we just came out with a rye and ginger beer.
Nice.
So there's ginger in it, there's rye, and it's really nice, and it's got a little bit of a ginger kick to it, but the rye is super smooth. I'm a big fan
of
it.
Is it LCBO availability?
No, just at the tap room. But I mean, if you're people can order. There's like $10 flat rate shipping across the province, or free delivery in Ottawa. So, there's lots of ways to get it, especially the Taproom 174 series, which we don't sell in the LCBO. You can get a whole flat shipped to your house.
Nice. I'll have to hit the website because I do like a nice rye and ginger beer. So
it's one that we used to have years ago when Broadhead like first opened, and back in like 2015, they had it for a while, and it was very popular, and then it just was gone. And then we brought it back for not for the anniversary, but just for like one of our 174 series beers, our small batch.
Nice. Cool. I recently discovered a brew. Discovered it's been there for a little over a year now. Brewery. It's 10 minutes down the road from me in Scotland, Ontario, called Flux Brewing, and
nice.
It's converted horse barn that they turned into a brewery. It's absolutely fantastic. And they still have some. I'll probably go back this week and pick some more up. They have their Oktoberfest, their Marzen beer, and It's
Love it.
absolutely fantastic. I think I've bought. I've had 6 growlers of it so far.
Wow, that's awesome. Like full growlers or the
No,
mini?
no, 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 no. Those the minis. You know, if I'm buying the minis, I have to buy 2 of them because.
I remember when I used to work at Waller Street Brewing back in the RIP
Yeah,
Waller
poor
Street.
Waller Street, man.
That's the glass I have tonight. He said a tulip glass. I'm like, okay, the only one I have is my Waller Street pint glass. So throwback to the old days. When I was working there, we would used to bottle in like the mini growlers, howlers, I guess
Howlers,
they're
yeah.
called, the little 750 milliliter ones. And one time I was putting some bottles away behind the bar, and guy comes in. He's like, "Hey, gonna buy some beer." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." So I sold him some beer, and he was some howlers, and he goes, "I have a question for you. Like, when I open one of these, if I don't, if you don't finish, you put it back in the fridge. How many days? How long will it be okay carbonated for? Like, when will it go flat?" And I didn't have an answer for him because I'd never not finished
Right.
one in one sitting. I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, I've never put one back in the fridge. Turns out it's like 2 days. If you screw the cap on tightly enough, it should be okay for a couple
Yeah.
of day and a half,
Day and a
couple
half
days.
or so.
But it's like, bro, I don't know. It's one beer. I've never not finished it. So I was like, I had to ask someone else. I'm like, yeah, you know how long this will last? It's like a pint and a half.
Yeah, yeah. I happen to have a couple different growlers that are pressurized, so I can get away with like a week. Not that the beer ever lasts that long.
No. Yeah, I remember when I used to buy growlers, when everyone used to buy growlers. I used to share with some friends, or if I was having it, I would just like, that would be my beer for the night. It's like, okay, here's my, 2 liters of beer, or whatever the hell it is. Here's my pitcher to myself for this evening.
1.89 liters.
Yeah, so just under,
whatever it is.
Just under 2 liters. So.
for the
yeah.
I think that is that, yeah, because it's a half gallon. I mean, it's a half gallon US, 64 ounces. So
yeah, it's like an extra big stout.
Yeah, it is.
Where it's like really heavy. It's really heavy to drink out of for the first bit, but the more you drink, the stronger you get. And
That's
it's lighter.
right.
I think that's how it works.
That's exactly how it works. That's right. Yeah. I still like buying growlers. I like collecting growlers from different breweries as I go there, just as a, hey, this is a place I've been. I tell you, another one of my favorite things is when breweries do cask aged beers. So like Clifford Brewing in Hamilton, they have an ESB called the Dark Streets of London, and they did a cask aged one where they put 4 liters into a box, into like how you box wine, so it's in the bag, and it's super low carbonation. And I was playing Dungeons and Dragons with some guys I've been playing games with since I was 8 years old, and I just had it sitting on the desk next to me, and as we're playing, I just reach over and I ended up going through the whole thing in one sitting. So,
well, I mean, that's just a drink for the night.
That's right. Yeah, that was just my. I could have just put a straw into the bag, just sat there going. Wait,
just get one of those like beer helmets or camel packs like runners wear. Just put the bag, take it out of the box, stick it in your pack, and then have the straw. And
That's right. Hang on. Yep.
Thirsty.
Right. So as I said earlier, Braggots are not a super popular style, but if you get the chance, grab yourself one. Give it a try.
Yeah. Very tasty. Very
this
nice.
This one is available in select LCBOs, and I know you can buy it on their website. And you, if you like it, you can buy a flat of it on their website or a keg if you want to go pick it up at the brewery. I saw that they offer a keg for $238 for a keg.
Well, that's probably a 30-liter keg. Right?
Yeah, I don't know if it was 20 or 30, but
that's got to be a small keg too. Judging by how much this little thing costs, there's no way that's a 50.
Oh yeah, no, it's like either a 20 or a 30. Yeah, probably a 20. I would guess. But yeah, it's this one's nice because it is so light, but it's also deceptive. So if you do pick a few of these up, use a little caution. If you're not used to higher octane brews, it's gonna hit you pretty hard. If you're like me and you tend to drink the double digit ABVs, it's just gonna be a starter beer for you.
at the brewery, we got a 10 hop triple IPA right now that comes in at 10%, and it's like sneaky smooth drinking. It just tastes like a regular 6.5% like West Coast IPA, and there's a bit of warmth that comes with it, but it's not boozy.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be driving after one of those because it friggin' hits you. Like one pint of that, you're like, woof.
Yeah, I have waiting for me for after the show here. I'm going to be hitting Collective Arts Origin of Darkness. Nice. I've got the peanut butter Imperial Stout, which is absolutely fantastic this year, and I think it comes in at like 11.9.
Peanut butter stouts are exceptional. I haven't had a bad one.
When they're done right, they're exceptional. I have had several that have just missed the mark, and it's usually not by much, but it's just enough for you to go, there's just something wrong with it, you know. I had one that they used that the powdered peanut butter in it, and that's what a lot of breweries do. They use the powdered peanut butter because you can mix it in with the grains fairly easy and things like that. But they used way too much of it, and the beer was super dry. So you'd like, you take a drink and you'd be like, you're like, I need water.
Don't want that. Well, Whitewater does a really good the peanut butter shake stout that they do is really nice, and Pub Brewski in Montreal does a really exceptional peanut butter stout as well.
Nice.
And those are the couple I've had.
Yeah, I've had several. I have a buddy who owns a brewery in Milwaukee, and he makes a good peanut butter stout, but he makes it very rarely because it's kind of expensive to make. And then what's the name of the brewery? Is it Duclaw in Pennsylvania? They have their Jesus series of beers, and they have one that's it's like peanut butter Jesus or something like that. You know?
Peanut butter Jesus.
Yeah, so you know, it's pretty good too. But you know, it's for most people, we have fully entered into stout and porter season. For people like me, we're still in stout and porter season.
Yeah. I don't fully subscribe to seasonality of beer. Like if I feel like a stout, I'll drink one no matter what time of year it is. I'd still sometimes in January I want a fruity sour, you know, like it. But I do understand that a lot of times people are like, oh, it's a little colder, I want a cozier, warmer beer, which I do understand. But I don't think some people refuse to drink a stout in the summer or refuse to drink a lager in the winter, and it's like, just drink what you want. If you feel like it,
I was sitting out on the porch yesterday because it was 16 degrees and sunny here yesterday.
Oh, it was that warm here today too. It's crazy.
I was sitting on the back deck last night with my wife and my sister-in-law, and I was drinking shandies.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh, you know what sounds really good, and I've still got a few of them in the cooler. Yeah, I had also from Boxing Rock. It was their cranberry lemonade shandy. It was absolutely fantastic, and it's and it's super light. It's like 2.9%. So you know, it's like you could literally drink a case of those and still walk wherever you needed to get to. You might have to pee every 10 minutes, but
yeah, exactly. Break the seal.
All right. Well, you know, my friend, we have been talking for 33 minutes here, looking at the shot clock here. Well, you know, I get charged by the hour for recording.
Yeah, I told you not to mention that awful thing. I tell you my rates afterwards.
I get charged by the hour by my guests. This is the part of the show where I say, hey, if you like the show, you know, please click the little like button and maybe subscribe and click the little bell to be notified when new episodes come out. You know, if you have any questions for me or questions for Chris, you know, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. I'll forward any questions for him on to him. If you have a suggestion for a beer style, a beer type, a specific beer, or a guest you'd like me to try to have on, hey, leave that in the comments below. Other than that, until next time, I'm Rob from the internet. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks for having me, Rob.